Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. My name is Allison and today we are going to be talking about low cost gardening. Before we get into it, I do just want to apologize if my audio is weird. I've been having issues with my iPhone microphone, so I bought an external microphone and now it's just not doing what I wanted it to. It sounds kind of tunnely and odd unless I'm holding it like right here. So I have it across from me and hopefully it's still like picking up okay and sounding better, but we may be ordering a new microphone. But let's get into the video. So today we're going to be talking about low cost gardening. Specifically, we're going to be talking about starting seeds and that kind of thing for low cost. So I've already seen a ton of creators posting videos about starting seeds and people are getting ready, garden planning. I've already started some stuff. And so I wanted to go ahead and get this video out there so that if you're thinking about starting seeds this year, even if you're not going to be starting for another couple weeks or a month, you can start planning and figuring out different ways that you're going to be saving money doing this. I think gardening, really getting into any new hobby, can be a little stressful when you're trying to save money because there's a lot of startup costs with anything, and gardening is just the same. Seems like there's a plethora of things that you can spend money on, as well as stuff that is like extremely cheap to stuff that is like so expensive and you just don't know what to get. And so I just want to talk about how I start seeds and then how some tips for starting seeds at a low cost to zero cost. So let's get started. First thing that you're doing if you're garden planning is you're trying to decide what you're going to plant. Are you going to do starts or are you going to do seeds? And starts are great if you are a new gardener. I would consider myself still a new gardener, even though I've been doing this for a couple seasons. But starts can be expensive, especially if you start buying them from big box stores like Lowe's or Walmart. You can be paying $6 for a single tomato plant, and like that's okay if you're just trying to do a couple of little plants on your balcony. But if you're trying to offset your grocery bill, I always see the tip when you're trying to save money grocery shopping is always like grow your own food, and then you start to search growing your own food and it's really not that much cheaper. At least it doesn't seem that much cheaper. So starts can definitely be expensive and they can start to add up. But some ways that I have found that you can start saving money that way is number one, by shopping at local nurseries instead of the big box stores. Local nurseries tend to do more like 6 packs of a plant or something for $5 kind of thing, so that you're able to get a little bit more bang for your buck. Plant exchanges are always great. I know our local community does a spring garden show every year in April, and there's always tons of local nursery vendors there. There's people who literally just bring plants and people just take them home. People do seed swaps there, so definitely look into your local master gardeners and see what they have available, or just in the surrounding counties and that kind of thing. And then Facebook Marketplace is another place that you can find seed or plant starts, especially as it gets a little bit later in the year, like April and May, because a lot of people are just like me. They're going to start way too much stuff and then they're not going to have a place to put it, and they're going to be like, might as well sell it. And so I found that you can find a couple of good, really well started plants for cheap by looking on Facebook Marketplace. I will say I think the cheapest way to start gardening is seeds. You can plant hundreds of seeds. I mean, I got this seed packet for $1 and it has 300 seeds in it. Now, this is just kale, so there's, a balance there. But I'm just saying, seed packets, you're going to get tons of use out of them. They last a long time. Seeds are where it's at, but you need to know how to start them. And then there's a lot of other costs to factor in when you're starting seeds. But let's talk about where you can get seeds for cheap. Dollar Tree and Dollar General sell seeds. I've never bought seeds from Dollar Tree, but I'm pretty confident in years past they're 25 cents a seed packet. You're not going to be able to get huge heirloom varieties or like the fanciest variety of tomato or whatever, but you're going to be able to meet your basic gardening needs by shopping at like a Dollar Tree or Dollar General. And I've heard, like I said, I've never bought seeds from Dollar Tree or Dollar General, but I've heard that the rate in which they start growing is great, and like a lot of people shop there to get their seeds. The other thing is to look for sales. If you're getting into gardening, you can look around. I've seen already on Facebook Market or on Facebook that Menards, which I don't have a Menards anywhere near me. I think that's more of a North thing, but that they already have seed packets on sale for like 10 cents a packet. Like, there's so much you can do there. And even if you do end up shopping at like Lowe's or Walmart, if you just focus on what it is that you are actually going to eat and grow, you can save money. I was at Lowe's yesterday and I checked, and a package of just regular vegetable seeds, non-organic, anything like that, was like $2.20. So, and you're gonna get 20 to 30 seeds at least from every one of those packages. So definitely just factor in like what you're gonna eat, what you're actually gonna eat, and prioritize that kind of thing, as well as productivity. Like, you can get a package of seeds of tomatoes that are what's the word? I cannot think of the name of the variety, but they're big giant tomatoes that can weigh like 3 pounds. You can pay $2.20 for that, and you're gonna get one plant is probably gonna produce 4 to 5 big 3-pound tomatoes, maybe. Or for the exact same price, you can get a cherry tomato plant that is going to produce hundreds of cherry tomatoes, and that might be a little bit more bang for your buck if that's what you're kind of trying to save money on. Where I have gotten seeds is from In My Gardener. Most of my seeds are from In My Gardener. I did recently check to see how much their seeds are. They're still $2 a package for most things. They have a ton of amazing varieties. And then I don't know if they did this year, but in 2023, they had this like big end of the year sale. I want to say it was in like September, was at the end of the growing season, and all of their seed packets were $1. So I spent $100 on seeds. I'm pretty much set on seeds for life. I feel like I don't need to buy anymore. We always do. But looking around online, there are some good prices online. But I think In My Gardener is a great option because you can rely on their seeds. They're going to go well. Even if you're spending $2, like I said, this is $2. It's 300 seeds of kale. So I could start a heck ton of kale with this. Another option, if you're trying to go as like budget as possible, is to harvest from your grocery store vegetables. I have never done this, but I've seen tons of videos online about it. You can learn anything on YouTube. So if that is something that you're really trying to spend $0 on seeds this year, look at some videos and do some research on how you can save seeds. And honestly, if you just try, okay? I get that, like, maybe the recommendation is like, no, don't grow seeds unless they're organic or they're going to be sprayed or something. I don't know. Just try. Gardening is just about trying. So just try. The next area that you're going to need to start seeds is containers. You're going to have some kind of container to grow your seed in. But I think this is the easiest area to find really cheap options. So the best thing I think, and the thing I do every year, is to reuse your trash. So I use solo cups a lot of the time to start my seeds and to up-pot my seeds. Just red solo cup with a hole drilled in the bottom. Works great, and they're pretty reusable. I mean, if you're rough when you take them out when you're planting them actually in the ground, you might break the package or break the cup. But for the most part, I still have all of my cups that I've used in the past, and then I just try to either like re-sew what was sewn last year in the cup because it's already written on the cup, or I just like put a big line through it, and I just go off with the darkest mark is what's left. But there are tons of options. Strawberry containers. I started about 50 tomato seeds in one of these last year. I literally just like soil, and the whole top of the thing was tomatoes. Did they do amazing? No, they didn't do amazing because I should have uppotted them a lot sooner. But that's an option. I actually plan on starting some like microgreens in this specific container. That's what I'm saving it for, because I can do like I did the tomatoes and literally sow the entire thing. This is one I found this year that I am trying, and that is chicken broth containers. I just used a knife after I was done with the chicken broth and cut the outside of it, to poke a couple holes in this, and boom. That is a seed starting container. Another option, I'm going to have to go grab. I should have already had it over here and I just forgot to grab it. But this is one of my favorite options for starting seeds, and that's just a good old milk jug. If you're like my family and you have a toddler, you probably go through a lot of these. We go through about 2 gallons of milk a week. And so I'm going to be stocked up by the time I really need to get started on stuff. There are a ton of options that you can do with this. You can literally just cut it in half and start it. But these are great to have deeper soil and maybe do a couple less plants or that kind of thing. But milk jugs are great. Another thing is, if you do decide to buy starts this year, but maybe you're thinking about doing seeds next year, is to save your starts containers. I buy starts every single year because something didn't grow, or I want to get flowers, or I'm at the garden show and I'm like, oh, that looks cool, I should get that. And I save the containers because they're just, they're made for starting seeds. So that's a great option. Just save them. I've never had issues with them not lasting. I just literally like rinse them out and throw them in a box, and they're in a box in my barn right now. One thing that I think goes along with containers is I really like to do bottom watering with my seeds. And so if you do that with red Solo cups and you just want to do red Solo cups, you can do a cup with a hole and then a cup with no hole, and you can put like a rock in it so that there's some level. But what I do every year is I buy these casserole dishes, and I do try to save these, but mine get a lot of beating because I tend to I use them to transport in and out and all that. This year I actually found these on sale after Christmas. Usually I just get like the basic casserole, like tin casserole dishes, and they're only about yay big. These are like for cooking turkeys in. They're much more sturdy, and I got them for half off after Christmas. So I only got them for $2. I got 3 of them, and you can put a ton of red Solo cups in this. You bottom water, and then these also work well with like going outside. I've used them in my little portable greenhouse that I did last year. I like these, and I think this year is going to be the best year because these are just like so sturdy compared to what I've used in the past. The next thing that you have to fill your containers is soil, and I think soil is the hardest. It's the biggest expense, but a big bag of soil really does go a long way. But you really need to start your seeds in potting mix. So the best budget option I've found is, if you're going to be starting a lot of seeds, just go to Sam's and buy a bulk. Just skip Lowe's, skip Walmart, go to Sam's. Sam's has so much better prices for their buying in bulk. I have seen some stuff about how it's cheaper to make your own potting mix and like buy the ingredients for the potting mix. But honestly, I just think for a beginner or for someone who's trying to save money, that's just a lot. It's also really hard to save potting mix like from year to year, unlike containers and seeds you can save. But potting mix is just a big expense, but it's worth it, and it really does go a long way in terms of seed starting. So just keep that in mind when you go to buy it. And then you obviously need light. A lot of people use grow lights, and I use grow lights. I like them. They work. But you can start seeds in a windowsill. I actually recently saw a post of, I was just doing some research on how people are starting seeds this year, and I saw a post where someone said they start all their seeds on just a paper towel, a wet paper towel on top of their fridge, and then once they start is when they start moving them into packaging and so that's an option. But windowsills, I did My tomatoes that I did in one of these last year, I just did in my kitchen windowsill. It didn't put it under grow lights, and I got, like I said, I had like 50. I had 50 starts from this container that I literally just put tinfoil on the bottom of this because this does have holes and I didn't want it to drip everywhere. So I did tinfoil and then I just put it in my windowsill. And that's what I plan on doing with this, with microgreens. And honestly, I kind of want to experiment this year, and I'm probably going to do a lot more in windowsills this year that I did do last year, but that's a whole nother story. Another option, if you're worried about light, or if you just don't feel like you have a good place to do that, you don't have the room to have a toddler like I do, and you know windowsills just not going to work, is winter sowing. That is another thing that I'm trying to learn more about. But I recently joined a Facebook group where basically what people do is any time of the year, January, February, they cut a gallon-sized milk jug or something similar in half, fill it with dirt, plant their stuff, duct tape it, and then they put the lid on this, and they basically make this a greenhouse. And it grows until it's ready to be planted in the ground. It's warm enough to plant it in the ground, and then they cut that tape open. That is a way that you can do that outside, and you don't have to worry about light. And I've also seen a lot of things about how it's easier because you can move it really easily, but I've never tried it. But it's something I'm kind of interested in doing maybe next year. It's already like 60 degrees today, so we probably passed winter sowing time. But the other thing is you can just skip seed starting. You can skip seed starting in containers, starting them in the house. They might help you get your season started a little bit earlier, especially with summer gardening. But there are tons of things you can grow, a ton of food that you can grow that you can just put it in the ground. You don't need to worry about starting seeds early. You don't need to worry about any of that. Just put it in the ground. So there's a lot of food. I plan on starting, I'm getting ready to start a couple of winter things as seed starts. I'm going to start them in the house and put them outside when I get my garden ready. But stuff like turnips, radishes, beets, I'm going to start my spinach, my kale, just straight in the garden. Okra can get started in the garden, and okra is like so prolific. You could have a ton of okra. You could eat okra every day for a year if you really wanted to. There's a lot of things that you could just start straight in the ground. Don't worry about starting it in the house. Don't worry about anything else. But if you are wanting to really get into seed starting, really get into gardening, maybe you've been gardening with starts for the last few years and you're ready to make it into seed starting, you know this is something that you're going to do for a while and something that you want to invest in, I think that grow lights are a good option. And I'll put the link down below again, but in my last video, I talked about my little grow light domes. Let me get in, I'll show you. So this is my little grow light dome that I purchased on Amazon last year for pretty cheap. I've got some herbs going in here for a little indoor herb garden experience, but these domes are great. I've already had lots of germination. I say lots, I have 4 cells that have germinated, and several things that have not. Don't get me started on the ones that have not, but these are a great option. I bought these last year. Seen other people use them. They're pretty cheap. I want to say for like one of these it was like $25, and like I used it last year. I'm using it this year. That's like we're getting minimal. I'm not buying any more this year, but I have the option, and I can fit 4 of these packages in here that have 12 squares in them. So you do the math on how many seeds I can start in just one of these. And the box I came with 2. So that is another really great option. That is all I have for you guys about starting seeds low cost. If you want to see a video, I'm getting ready to start some videos on how I start seeds, different things I'm starting. And yeah, I've been starting seeds. This is my, I want to say it's my 3rd or 4th year. I think this is my 4th year starting seeds. The first year was a disaster. Not a single seed lived. The second year, I had a lot of I can start seeds. That is not where I struggle in the garden. I struggle once it goes out to planting, and then I have to remember to water it every day. I don't know why. When it's in my house and I can see it and it's just a little baby plant, I can remember to water it every day. When it's outside in the garden and it's like actually growing, I have troubles with that. So, seed starting I can do though. And I'm actually, last year I started some seeds and I sold them. I sold tomatoes, was the only thing I sold. But this year I'm going to try to start a few more things and sell those. So I'm probably going to have a lot to show you guys. So thank you guys for watching. I hope that this video was informational and that you learned something, and that hopefully I have encouraged you that you can start gardening this year for a really low cost, and you will grow a ton of food. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye.